We all need to improve ourselves one way or another. I recently had someone ask me why I did not have many friends, and truth be told, I have no idea. This is why I decided to use this as my area of improvement. The book I chose to do was How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. The purpose of this is to teach you some of the tips and tricks I used personally in my life or learned to improve myself. First, we are going to talk about a principle called don't criticize, condemn, or complain. Then we will talk about the concept of being generally interested in people. After that, we will discuss the importance of people's names. And lastly, I will tell you some of the tips I used in my everyday life and how that turned out for me. First, I'm going to talk about the principle don't criticize, condemn, or complain. Do not criticize people because most people have a lot going on that we don't know about. And plus, we are no better than the next person. And they don't criticize us, we shouldn't criticize them. Next, condemn. People are disapproved of enough by bosses, parents, teachers, whoever. So they don't need us adding on to that disapproval. Plus, no one is perfect. So what you're disapproving of for them, they could be disapproving of for you. Do not complain. Someone always has it worse than you. So we're always told don't complain because people have the worst in other cases and we're better off. So I agree with that. And complaining gets you nowhere. I've learned that a lot at work because, like most people, I complain about my job and it has gotten me nowhere but back to work every day. Now let's discuss the importance of people's names. Of the concept of being interested in people. First, some people have no one. So when you talk to someone and you're generally interested in their lives, that brightens their day, and you're giving something to them, whether it's a compliment or something that they don't get from other people because, most people don't have people in their lives. It holds a better conversation. People like to talk about themselves. I like to talk about myself. I'm sure everybody likes to talk about themselves. So when someone comes and asks you about yourself, you tend to relax a little and talk to them more. It also gives off a good impression. Someone is going to want to continue to talk to you if you talk about them and stay generally interested. Makes you more relatable. People relax around you a lot more if they feel like you're trying to adapt to talking to them rather than talking at them. And people are more willing to listen when you guys learn to relate because of some of the interests you may have learned from them. Now, let's discuss the importance of people's names. They're our names. We're given them, we live with them, we die with them. That's something that's important to people. As a person with a complicated name, I understand how important it is to understand someone's name. When someone says my name correctly, I get super excited because it's very rare, which brings me to pronunciation and spelling. It makes people happy when you can pronounce their name, especially if it's complicated. Plus, it lets them know you listen. Like if I pronounce my name once to you and you can say it back, I know you were listening to me because I've had cases where people can't say it even after I just told them, and it kind of frustrates me a little. Lastly, some of the tips I used in my everyday life. First one, talk to others, talk in the terms of others' interests. We all like when someone comes up to us and is like, hey, did you see that game on Saturday? If you're a sports fan, if you're an arts fan, talk about art. It's good to connect with people on a level of something they're interested in rather than something that you like. If you're wrong, admit it. This one is complicated, especially for people like me, because when I am wrong, I do not like to admit it. But I did, in this instance, use it, and I think it turned out pretty well. Let others do a great deal of the talking. We all love to talk. People like me, I talk all the time. I don't ever shut up. But other people like to be heard, so sometimes you have to learn not to talk as much. Talk about your own mistakes before you criticize others. It sounds a little better when you address something that you did that was similarly wrong before you say, oh, that was bad and stupid. It eases people in, makes them feel more comfortable. And lastly, make faults seem easy to correct. We all have faults and we all fall into little traps. But if you tell someone, oh, this is simple to correct, then it helps them out instead of judging them. You can teach them a new way to fix an issue that maybe they still are currently going through. How I use them? Well, I use them at home with the instance of make faults seem easy to correct. I use that with my little brother and his behavior at school. And I think that it helped at least for the couple days that I recorded on. I still haven't gotten any calls, so seems like we're on a good pace. At school, I tend to use it when talking to other people and I try to relate to what they're interested in rather than what I'm interested in. And at work, I let others do most of the talking, which was kind of iffy for me. My success, well, all but one actually went really well. Everybody adapted to it and nobody had a problem with it and actually liked it and felt more comfortable verbally and non-verbally. But one I did not have as much success with, and that was the not talking a lot because it's unusual for me. So most people thought I was sick or there was something wrong with me. And so I wouldn't say I got the best experience with that one, even though I did give it a try. In conclusion, we all need to improve some more than others. We just have to be willing to take the time to do it. The book I did was How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie, which this presentation was to inform you of how I used them and what I learned from the book. First, I talked about not judging people. Then I discussed being more interested in people. After that, I spoke about the importance of people's names and how it makes them feel. And lastly, we went over some of the tips I used and how that worked out. The next time you think you cannot do something to make yourself better, just know we can do anything as long as we put our minds and time to it. Thank you.